What's going on, everybody? We have Taylor Welch coming all the way out of Nashville from Traffic and Funnels. Taylor, really quick for the audience, let them know what is it that you actually do and how do you generate revenue for Traffic and Funnels?
Traffic and Funnels is a consultancy for people who work with clients. So you know how there are the incubators that take equity and they grow businesses in exchange for equity. We kind of do the same thing, but instead of equity for Traffic and Funnels, we take a fee. So that's TF.
Fair enough. Would you say that Traffic and Funnels is more on the education side, or is there anything like done for you, done with you, anything like that?
Yeah. So there's the education piece, and then there's the two extremes is like just courses and then agencies. We're kind of in the middle where it is a little bit of education, but it's a little bit of done with you as well. A little more hands-on than a course, but not quite as hands-on as if you were hiring an agency to do everything for you.
Got you. And let's just, I want to peel the onion back to the viewers and the audience that's actually listening. So let's say, as an example, if I'm an agency owner, I come to Traffic and Funnels. Let's say I've seen your ads and your faces all over the place, right? So I see one of your ads, I click on it, I hit your landing page, I buy, let's say, one of your courses, maybe one of your starter, $17 products, and then it'll drive me up the value ladder at one point. Where am I ending up? Like, what's the goal for me or for you to get agencies at the end of your value ladder?
I mean, if I like you and the team likes you, the goal would be to get you into Elite, which is the top offer that we have for TF. We have other programs that are more expensive in other businesses, but Elite is the top of TF, and it's a year long or 6 months based on what you want. And there's events in person. There is access to our team. So, people don't know this, but the COO that we've retained for Traffic and Funnels has been a part of several exits. We run our company not like an internet marketing company. We run our company more like an IPO or something that is set to sale. So you get access to him, you get access to me and Chris, you get access to our team, and it's more of a longer term engagement with relationship involved rather than just a transaction. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. And what's it cost if I want to get into something like that? What's like just rough cost?
I know they just raised the prices. It's probably like 40 to 50 for the year. I don't know exactly because I'm actually a CEO, not necessarily a tinkerer inside of everything. So I'm not exactly sure what they're charging, but I think it's less than 50, more than 40.
Fair enough. We'll call it 45K if you want to join, right in the middle.
There we go. Yeah.
And how many team members does Traffic and Funnels have? And what's just like a quick breakdown? Like how many people you have on sales, customer support, client success, things like that?
Yeah, Traffic and Funnels, like only just for TF, probably 40, 45. Between everything together, we're over 100. Sales for everything is probably just for TF or everything together, which is better.
Let's do Traffic and Funnels. And then
Traffic and Funnels probably has maybe 10 or 12 salespeople, maybe 10 client success people, probably 8 or 10 marketing people, and then 8 to 10 operations staff.
Fair enough. And for your sales reps, are they all quota carrying?
Yep.
And how do you because I see a lot, there's a lot of also coaches, consultants, obviously agencies that watch the show. How do you structure your sales rep quotas?
In terms of what we expect them to produce?
Yeah, like monthly, maybe, you got to add, 10K in MRR or do 20K in gross net or gross sales as an example. What's like a good core KPI for one of your sales reps on the Traffic and Funnel side?
I'll give you 2 answers to this question because I think I know what you're getting at. So I'll answer the fundamental question and then I'll take you behind the scenes.
Cool.
I think our average per sales rep is probably around 200K in monthly production. All right. That said, everybody's different and we have a vision structured culture. There's kind of 2 ways to push someone. People can improve because they can improve out of fear, or they can improve out of vision. And I want people on our team to improve out of vision. I want them to see what's possible and set big goals. So our top dogs are going to earn 35 to 40K, and our people at the bottom are going to earn 8 to 10K. And I'm not about just cutting those people loose immediately because sometimes it's not a salesmanship issue. It's more of a vision issue. So we're not really big on the, like, if you don't produce this, you're fired. we're more along the lines of like, what is your potential? And if we can line you up with your potential, that's great. If not, we'll replace you.
Love it, man. And how many active clients is Traffic and Funnel serving right now? I know in the education space, people come and go, but let's just say in your high ticket programs or anything that's recurring, how many active clients are you guys servicing right now?
Say maybe 700 or 800.
Cool. And how many people do you think, this is a random question, but how many people do you think have went through, like if you look at maybe your CRM system, anybody who purchased a product from you, how many hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands do you think it's been that maybe either bought a $17 product and stopped there? And how many people do you think you have in your actual system?
I would say 80 to 100,000.
Love that, man. So 80 to 100,000 people have got a taste of Traffic and Funnels, whether it be a small $17 product or way up in the value ladder in your elite program. So that's awesome. And most people, especially in the education space, there's always what we hear of the value ladder, right? Or some type of strategy to get people on a low end product and then kind of ascend them up the ladder or send them down, whatever it is that you call it, right? What's your structure in Traffic and Funnels? Like, what's your game plan? Is it, hey, let me release this $17 product, send all my traffic there, get my sales guys on the back end to reach out to these guys and to send them up to elite? Like, how does that work? Do you have any products in the middle where they're going from 17 to like a course that's like $1,000 and then pushing up from there?
Yeah, we do, but we don't necessarily, we've tried to set everything up as a family of companies, not just for Traffic and Funnels, because to be honest, there are people that come in through Traffic and Funnels marketing that don't belong in Traffic and Funnels. They belong in Wealth Cap, they belong in Sales Mentor or whatever. So we kind of see it as like, what's the plethora of options that people have? And the best journey for us is somebody could come in, buy a book from us or something simple. They love it. They hop into one of our groups. They love it. We have $200, $300, $400 programs that are much less expensive and pricey than say a CK. But ideally we want to get somebody to the place of producing significant enough revenue that they can get into wealth building. They've gone from the level of like, I'm trying to make money to I have enough money and now I'm trying to build wealth long-term. And then they are transferred into the real estate side of the house, because it's not very profitable for us to just have a bunch of random $400 people coming in all the time. We want to get them to a place of health and sustainability and then get them into the long game.
What's your thought process on the industry right now? Like, and this is
internet marketing.
This is not one of the questions that I have here, but I'm going to ask you because I know you're big into the game. What do you think about the whole industry right now? Like with this whole influencer thing and a bunch of people selling courses online and trying to get people to, be better at sales or be better at this. Like, what's your thought on the whole thing?
You want me to be honest with you?
I want the raw fucking truth.
I really hate it.
Okay.
I really hate it. I think that it's a kind of a cesspool of, I was thinking about it this morning because in one of our groups, there's a guy who has kind of followed us for the last 4 or 5 years. And he's always just kind of showing up, taking shots. It's funny. Somebody texted me on Monday who used to work for us, and she was very nice and very kind. She used to work for us. She transitioned out and she was like, hey, I just need to apologize for, I've taken some cheap shots at Traffic and Funnels. And I didn't know what she was talking about. But I was like, hey, that's, somebody's got some strength when they're apologizing for something that the person wouldn't even know. Like, that's integrity. And I was like, this means a lot. Thank you. But I was thinking about the culture of internet marketer, and it's just like this cesspool of like, everybody wants to take shots at the people at the top. And I feel like what we're lacking in the internet marketing world is proper, the proper specimen of business owner who understands that it's not just about having 1 year where you do really well and you're very transactional and like nobody's really long-term in this industry. And sometimes when I come back from working at other companies, I'm coming back from, touring different banks that want our business for Wealth Cap long-term, and they're willing to do whatever for us. We have like $15 million credit lines on the real estate side, just insane stuff. And I step back into internet marketing. Sometimes I'll go into a group and I'll just be like, oh, this feels so gross, because it's just a bunch of kids making fun of each other and trying to kind of like politics right now. Yeah. It's like the only way you can win is by discrediting the other guy. And I think that it needs some good leaders. You got some great guys in the space though. You got people who are filled with integrity. Pete Vargas. I was talking with Billie Jean the other day. Marshall Silver, Russell Brunson. Like, there are some people who I think stand for the right things and they do it the right way. But overall, we need a complete overhaul, I think, of the morality of the internet marketing.
Yeah, and it's funny because I've been, especially when you say internet marketing, even just diving straight into digital marketing or on the agency space. If we pinpoint that industry specifically, I mean, I've been doing that since 2009. Our company DashClicks is about 2.5 years old, which stacks on top of that. It's like our software platform. And what we've seen I think we have like 25,000 agencies that signed up to use our platform in the last 2 years. You would like the patterns that I see coming in, the patterns. We also have our Facebook group, which we've got like 6,000 people or something like that in it. But what I'm seeing on the other end of that poll is very similar metrics. And what I'm seeing is expectations being the biggest issue. I see people coming into the internet marketing game or this digital marketing game thinking that it's like this 2-hour work week, get rich quick type of scenario, when in reality, they're looking at the end of their goal is money, and it's not necessarily building a business or something sustainable. It's just like, I just saw this guy get a $3,000 sale for Facebook ads for a client. How do I do the same thing today? Like, how do I get that same result? And then how do I burn that $3,000 client? And that client won't even be there the next month, right? So I think there needs to be some type of big shift in the industry. And for us, we've slowly been moving a little bit up market to work with more established agencies. I think that's definitely something that we love doing. People that have, they have a team of 15, 30, 40 people that have, 100, 200 clients that are focusing on the business, focusing on, like what you said at the beginning of the conversation, maybe one day, how can they actually take an exit, right? Or how can they build something of value versus, especially for a lot of coaches in the space, and it's hard to say it, but a lot of coaches in the space, they'll go out and they'll build the whole company. They'll do $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, $5 million in sales. And at the end of it, it's purely an education play, and it's built around their specific brand name. And if tomorrow they get hit by a bus, it's over. Like their company is not valued in anything. It's zero, right?
There's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're not pretending to be something else, which is like the key,
Yes. That plus also a big portion in my belief is, because we have a big education business too, to our business, but I believe in dipping into other assets and combining them and building like an ecosystem to make the
100%.
company actually be valued. And I think for all the agency owners listening to this, I think you guys really need to focus on not just how to grind through and pick up as many clients as you can and then burn and turn them. I think you really need to focus on actually building a business, and whatever it is, whether you're an agency or whether you're a freaking locksmith, whatever you do, build a freaking business, man. Let's talk about needle movers really quick. Like, what was the number one needle mover that you saw in your business that just like, whew, like when you, maybe it was early on when you started, what was that one thing where it was like, holy shit, like this is, I'm seeing like the light bulb moment here that's taking me to the next level?
You mean like when we first got started?
Yeah, maybe like something like, for me as an example, is when I first started doing paid ads 5 years, 6 years ago, and I was like, wow, this is like a game changer. Let me dump 100K in here, right? Like, what was your needle mover? What was that one thing that you saw that was like the big differentiator that took you to the next level, going from maybe $1 million a year to $10 million a year, whatever that case is?
Like the problem with answering this question is, like, after you get past a certain point, there's a needle mover every 3 months, and then you can't remember what the one was in 2015. So that's why I'm like kind of trying to reach back into the archives, so to speak. We started with paid ads though. So I would say, yes, that's a needle mover, but we got lucky in that Chris Evans, the other half of the business, was a paid ads guy. So I remember being in Dallas for a network marketing event with my wife, literally walking around a stadium in Dallas, looking at our metrics on the phone. Nobody had ever heard of us. Nobody knew who Taylor was. Nobody knew who Chris was. And having a filled up calendar of people who had gone through our webinar and applied to work with us. And so in a lot of senses, we got lucky in that. We were also doing done for you at the time. And we hired a guy named Sam about 6 months in. And Sam was like, dude, you guys got to stop doing done for you and just go down consulting. That was probably the first big leap up that we had, because we bought back so much time, so many hours that we were doing done for you. We bought all of that time back and we were able to put it into marketing, client fulfillment, et cetera. We went from, I think when we hired Sam, we were doing 40 or 50K a month. By the time we were done with Sam, we were doing 300 to 400K a month. So that was that first big 10X movement, so to speak, for us, was removing the laborious done for you and getting into the transference of education.
What about something that was more recent? Once you get to like a higher level, once you're doing around like 5-10M a year, what are some of the things, especially for some of the people who are watching, that can expect to get to these types of levels, or maybe already at these types of levels? I know I see tons of things in our business that are high level that you don't see early on, or not even, you got to get to like past 50, 60, 70 employees to even be able to see issues like this, right? What are the issues that you're seeing now in your business where you're like, dude, I can make this one change and it'll have such a massive intake on the entire company and move the needle so fast?
Building an executive team and removing me and Chris as the decision makers was huge, because we became the bottlenecks. I think this is in the Rockefeller Habits, or Scaling Up, the newer version. The strength of the leader becomes the weakness of the team. Yep. And for me and Chris, at this point, we manage 5 different executive teams for 5 different companies, a couple $1 million likely a month in advertising spend, if you trace it all down and all back to the credit cards. We can't make all the decisions anymore. And the longer we tried, the slower everything ran. And so we built executive teams for each company, and we trained them how we think, how to make decisions. And we have now outsourced the level of mental bandwidth going into growth decisions. And then things exploded. We did that around February this year. And we've probably grown 600 to 800% since that moment this year.
Yeah, I think I can relate to that and say literally the exact same thing. I know one of the big things we're doing right now is essentially growth. I mean, right now in our company, I think we're on track to hiring between, I want to say 5 to 8 people every single month for the last 6 months. And with building and scaling a team of that size, leadership plays the biggest role in everything. In finding people, delegating the stuff that you are so OCD about, pushing it out of your system and letting somebody, honestly, that's better than you, right?
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Right. There's people that are better at people. Like I remember when I first started my business in 2009, I thought I was the shit. I thought I was the best at everything. Nobody knew anything. Nobody knew marketing better than me. Nobody knew sales better than me. Now, I also started as a web developer. Nobody could develop better than me, right? And then going on and building. Right now, we're at about 60 people or so in our company.
Nice.
And understanding that level of what needs to be done to get stuff off of your plate. It's the biggest, and I will say that is, I think, the biggest thing for us too. So for those of you guys that are listening to this, like, take the shit off your plate. Like, there's people out you that can do a better job. Find those people, put them on an executive team, shuffle out the work to them, organize it, train them on the way that you like to do things, or the processes that you've seen in the past work, or the patterns that you've seen that were working in the past. Train them, work with them, and let them focus on those one specific set of tasks to push you further up, right? If you're struggling with getting leads for your business, hire a freaking sales VP and let them actually focus on building a sales team, right? If you don't have the time to do it, you're just going to be stuck forever. So, the big thing you just said there, man, something that I can agree on. I'm going to get to the end of this. I'm going to ask just a couple quick rapid fire questions, and then we'll wrap it up here. You got probably a shit ton of leads coming in every single month. I know you're doing a bunch of paid ads right now. First thing is, how much you think you're spending a month on paid ads? I know you said it was about $1 million, a couple of seconds.
Probably 1 to 2.
Okay, cool. So there's a lot of leads coming in, I'm assuming, right? Where are you putting all the leads? What CRM system are you using? What's your sales process? Walk me through that in like a minute.
HubSpot is the CRM I think they might be using Infusionsoft. I don't know, to be honest with you, but I know our sales team uses HubSpot. They come in, we have a team that just takes care of every front end lead. Everybody who comes in, we take care of them. It's a real human. We try not to automate this. I was on an interview with the sales guru, and he's like, you should automate that. I'm like, dude, people want a relationship now. Yeah. Like people want a relationship now more than ever before.
Yep.
It's part of why we're so successful. Nothing against him, but I was like, no. We've tried that, and we're actually going to call people the old-fashioned way because that's 2020. That's what people want.
Yep.
So
you're also
we have
calling every, like if somebody buys a $17 product, you're calling them, right?
every single person who comes in, we're calling them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And
Yeah,
what do you think that that's changed the game for you? Because I know a lot of other people in the space, they'll focus on nurturing email sequences and automations and stuff like that versus actually picking up the phone, and saying, why'd you just buy our product?
The two trains of thought here are, there are some big names in the industry that are like, only do what's going to get you paid, what's going to get you money.
Yep.
And that's kind of their ethos, is like, man, get rid of all the stuff that's not an immediate ROI. But then my advantage, and the reason that I have an advantage here, is because I am not in internet marketing 100%. Like, I study banks. People don't understand this. They can't get it through their head. That's why it's like difficult to have conversations with some people who are like, all they do is sales online. It's like, no, you don't understand, because you've never studied Bank of America and how they do business. You've never studied, how real estate has gone through ebbs and flows. And this is a Dan Kennedy thing where you're going to pull so much gold from other industries that you can just take and clone inside of your industry that's going to work. So yeah, we have the ethos of like relationship first, and what produces revenue is the byproduct of that relationship. So we're not in the business of like, man, cut everything that's not profitable in 24 hours. There was like a big ad when we were coming up that was like click to close in 48 hours. And by the way, they're still doing this. They're amazing at it. And you may not know who that is, but they're like, they want to close as many people as they can inside of 48 hours because they're statisticians. They're mathematicians. We are like the opposite, man. I will take 6 months to wait for a sale.
Yep.
Because we're not necessarily extracting the math value out of each person. We're trying to build a relationship, and out of that relationship can come a healthy transaction. And by the way, we have likely a lot more repeat buyers because of that ethos. Does that make sense?
Yeah. When you're building rapport with a specific human, when like one human builds a rapport with another human, it's game changing for business.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Especially even in like the agency world, because I know a lot of listeners have an agency that are watching this. I've seen so many people that are like, hey, I have my VA just like sending them emails and updates about like what they're doing. Like, dude, pick up the phone, man, and speak to these people so they don't cancel on you in 30 days. Let's go into last bit of metrics here. You're doing, let's say, $2 million a month in ad spend. You're probably doing a bunch of other advertising, but how much money are you selling? How much money are you generating on an annual basis for your companies?
TF is around 25 million a year. Sales Mentor is around 18. Wealth Cap is around 24, 23, 24. We just had a new business we picked up that's doing 4 to 5. That one will probably be over 15 by the end of next year. I mean, we'll crack $100 million in 2021 relatively easily.
And are you looking at these businesses as an ecosystem, or are these all separate serving businesses where they don't touch really each other?
We try to keep them in their own kind of universe.
Yep.
And we try not to have too much spillover at the beginning. It's way harder than it seems to, like, we have to have them a little bit wrapped together because a lot of the new acquisitions, the teams are not developed. Yep. But there is still an ecosystem aspect in that every business that we build or acquire serves in some capacity one of the other businesses. For example, Wealth Cap takes the money that's coming out for the other businesses and it invests it. Sales Mentor staffs salespeople for all the other businesses. So there's like different connection points, but for the most part, what we're trying to do is each business can be siloed off and sold if we want to get rid of it.
Yep. Is your main avatar and profile for most of these businesses, are you B2B?
No.
Okay. Are these all business owners, or is it just people?
No, Wealth Cap's not really that many business owners. I mean,
just people looking.
A lot of people. We have people in California who are like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that the houses in the South, in the Mid-South are so cheap. Let me invest there. And they've got jobs and pensions and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yep. What's last question here for you? What's your exit strategy out of all this, out of all these companies, out of all this wealth that you've built for yourself? Where do you see yourself in 3, 5, 10 years? Like where is Taylor Welch going to be?
I think we'll be over $1 billion annually in 10 years. I don't know you know, you can build all the plans you want, but sometimes it's just like things change and you got to be agile in the process. To be honest, I don't really have much of an exit strategy right now. I'm having a lot of fun. Chris is having fun. Chris wants a private plane. So it's like, well, here's the math we need to get into the plane
Let's get into the
business.
fun stuff now.
Yeah. But I think if you do it right and we're doing it right, then it might not make it sense to have an exit because we're able to do what we enjoy doing, and the things that we don't enjoy doing, there are other people in the world who do enjoy doing those things. So it's not like a zero sum game. It's really the opportunity to give people things they enjoy, and we keep things we enjoy. But who knows, man? We may get tired in 15 years and sell everything. I don't know.
Somebody walked up to you right now and they're like, Taylor, here's 200 million to step away. Would you take it?
Probably not. No.
There you go.
No, at $100 million in sales with the EBITDA we have, I think if you get into 600-700 million, maybe. But obviously everything's for sale. But
what do you think the multiple is? Because obviously, SaaS companies have high multiples, retail businesses have low multiples. What do you think a multiple is on the education and on the wealth management space?
The education is probably 2.5.
It's really low education.
Sales Mentor has some recurring, so that'll probably bump up to 4 or 5. One of the other businesses we acquired is recurring, and that'll be over 10 next year. So that could be worth a lot. WealthCap has 2 different types of businesses in it. But it's an asset business, so the valuation is going to be inflated on that as well.
100%.
And we keep a lot of that real estate. And by the end of 2022, we would have to go through absolute terror and crisis to not hit 300 to 400 million in holdings. That's assets, not under management. We're not playing Grant Cardone's bullshit. Owned, like assets owned. The difference between me and Grant Cardone, besides the fact that he has a plane and I don't, is he does assets under management. He eats a percentage of that for his take home, and he does very well. I own all my shit. No, we're not selling any of our stuff or managing it for other people.
I want to make sure that the viewers understand that, because a lot of people don't understand assets as far as like building assets. So what Grant Cardone is doing is essentially creating a fund, saying, hey, 100 people, give me 100 grand. Let's get this fund together. And then he's essentially taking a percentage to manage that fund, or whatever the case, what he's doing in the background. You're essentially saying that you are taking that $1 million or $10 million or whatever it is, and of your own liquid money, and you're putting that into physical assets, buying those assets, and those are your physical properties. Now, question I have for you is, because I see you saying yes, by the way, for those of you guys watching the audio, he's saying yes to that. But on the flip side, so all these people in WealthCap, I give you 100 grand, like how does it work? What are you taking that money? Is it not?
We do have
Grant Cardone style.
We have the SEC fund part set up. It's a debt fund though, not a syndication fund.
I got you.
And the difference is a syndication is like they own a percentage of the real estate. And I'm pretty sure, unless I'm mistaken, Grant owns a piece of his too, likely because you take a piece for the know-how and the knowledge to put the deal together.
100%. Then it's
maintenance. Ours is just debt. That's all that it is. So when somebody invests $1 million into one of our funds, see, notice what I just did is I just raised you. It's like, I'm not taking 100 grand from anybody because it's peanuts now. But if $1 million, if someone else put $1 million in, we'll pay them a percentage for that, but it's promissory note style. It's to be paid back at a future date. There's no preferred returns. It's just an annualized payment that we make monthly. And that's for the benefit. That's for the privilege of using that cash. We pay them for it. Then we return that sum to them.
What's like average percentage of return on your money? What are you seeing right now
for the fund?
Yeah,
10 to 12%.
That's good. Yeah, that's great. Okay, fair enough. And hey, you have a book coming out. Let's close out with that. Tell us a little bit about the book and where people can go get it.
Yeah, so they can pre-order it. It's at trafficandfunnels.com/99 cents. And I think 99 is the numbers, and then cents is spelled out. It is called The Consultant Next Door. It is really a conglomerate of what we've done in the last 3 or 4 years, everything kind of put down into a book that teaches how to build offers, how to set up your first bits of marketing and advertising. I wrote this back in January, February of this year. And we've just gotten all of the pieces together finally to launch it. So we sold about 1,000 copies. The feedback has been phenomenal, and pre-order is 99 cents. So it's a steal of a deal.
Love it. And that's available and out right now. Somebody can go to trafficandfunnels.com/99 and then cents spelled out.
Yep.
They can go pick that up right now. And I'm assuming, is it 99 cents?
Yep, it is indeed.
All right. Well, there you guys go. Ladies and gentlemen, Taylor Welch from Traffic and Funnels and multiple other companies coming out all the way from Nashville. Taylor, brother, thank you so much for your time. Tons of value you dropped here, man. We appreciate you, man. And we'll see you in a couple of months when you're up to that $1 billion valuation.
There we go. Thanks,
All right,
bro.
man. Bye.